Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam and welcome back to the AFI project. Today we are going to be taking a look at All the President's Men. This was directed by Alan J. Pakula. It was written by William Goldman, who also wrote the screenplay for The Princess Bride, one of my all-time favorite movies, and it starred Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford, among others. And even if you have never heard of this movie, you know exactly what it's about. And more specifically, you know what this movie surrounds, and that this movie is based on the true story of the investigation into the Watergate Scandal. The Watergate Scandal is well above my pay grade, so I'm just going to try and narrow it down to like an elevator pitch. Basically, in 1972, a group of people broke into the Democratic National Headquarters, and, well, to make a long story short, those group of people were connected very intimately with then-President Richard Nixon. And 2 years after this, well, again, to make a long story short, this whole scandal basically led to Richard Nixon resigning from the White House, and as of this recording, he is the only sitting president to do so. This movie chronicles Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, played by Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman respectively, as they are placed onto the story, and at first they're like, alright, just another day at the office. But as they dig deeper into the rabbit hole, things just get bigger and bigger and bigger. This was yet another first-time watch for me, and no matter where you turned, whether it's written reviews or reviews online, or just in public, if you bring up All the President's Men to someone, they normally just get a gleam in their eye, and that people just think this movie is just one of the finest. It's one of the greatest of all time. As far as my opinion on it, I'm not sure if it is the greatest. However, I am more than willing to back anyone who does believe that, because I thought this movie was quite excellent. The best parts of the movie were Redford and Hoffman. I love how initially they start out as just two guys who are just running a similar story, and they're like, hey, can we exchange notes? And then just seeing them go from like this small thing to like a huge thing throughout the course of this movie is just riveting stuff. And one of the things that I was honestly very surprised about is that this movie really doesn't feel all of that preachy, in that I'm sure that this movie was definitely aimed as a boo statement to Richard Nixon. I totally get that, but the movie does a good job at not feeling like we must bring this truth to power. Like, this is not trying to be something like that. It's just saying, you want to know about Watergate? Here's kind of what happened, or here's what led up to the breaking of that story. And what do I mean by preaching? Well, I'll give you an example. In another movie about the Watergate Scandal, The Post from 2017, an otherwise good movie is kinda nerfed for me when one of the characters is on the phone talking to someone and then they say the line, at the end of the day, democracy dies in darkness. To give greater context, that is the motto of the Washington Post. It would honestly have been more subtle if they had just said, this movie is brought to you by the Washington Post. This would just one big advertisement for them. All the President's Men did kind of the opposite of this. There's no time for any grandiosity. This movie just tells it exactly like it is. The way Woodward and Bernstein actually go onto the case is pretty blasé. It's like, hey Woodward, you got something for me? Yup. That's pretty much it. Things get more intense from there, but this movie is not really concerned with the speeches. It's about telling the story of how Woodward and Bernstein basically broke the Watergate scandal and tanked presidential administration, or at least contributed to it. With all this in mind, though, if you do go and watch this movie, I say to you, be prepared, because this is a movie that is basically a bunch of dudes either sitting in boardrooms or conducting interviews or doing research or typing on typewriters. So this, and I mean this with all due respect, not trying to condescend or insult anyone, this might be boring for some. But if you like kind of those nose to the grindstone kind of movies of, okay, we don't have time for celebration, we gotta make sure this story gets out kind of movies, I'm sure that's a genre, right? Then you will absolutely love All the President's Men. And at the end of the day, is All the President's Men one of the greatest movies ever made? I'm not sure. I'd have to think about that. Is it one of the most important? I would say so, yes. I steer far away from politics, just in every facet of life, but I don't care if you're left, right, or center. I suggest seeing this movie at least once. But that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Next time on the AFI Project, we are taking a hard left back down the calendar and going back to the mid-1930s and talking about the last Charlie Chaplin film on the AFI's list. It's from 1936, and it is called Modern Times. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.